The middle of the pretty difficult and intricate discussion here. So we started talking about it. Midas the Toyu. There is a concept of skulls, Midas the Toyu. It's a different level of skulls the way it is in Midas the Tikkun. So I'm going to start again. Line 7 from the top of the page. Page Kuf Lamed Hey. Remember, so he said there are two ways of Ischalkus. There's Ischalkus in Midas the Tikkun. The fact that there is Gvura Shebechesed, for example, the fact that one sphere contains the other within it, like he said, the Gvura Shebechesed, for example. That's the example he's learning. We're going with that the Chesed is only the Misharoi, because the Gvura Shebechesed, that is the first level of Ischalus. But it's not in that way. The Gvura and the Chesed are still two separate streams. They just come to some kind of compromise. So he says, "Even Ischalus azois, the Midas Chesed changes Ischalus mamash yeshneim yachad." Then he spoke about the second level of Ischalus, like Choisech Shift the same of Noi, that the Gvura itself is Chesed. That happens in Tikkun. He says, but the first level of Ischalus. That level of combination of the two midas, that it's the way they combine themselves, each one is like contradicting the other. One Chesed wants to the Ashpa should be Tat Gan Misheno, and Gvura blocks it, makes it should be only the low. That by Ischalus Yeshlem Shachar is the Toyu. So that level of Ischalus Shachar and Toyu, but there's still a difference in Toyu between Tikkun and Toyu in that level of Ischalus. What's the difference? Shivamidas the Toyu, the Yesh Shema Machlish Abitul. In Midas the Toyu, each midah is in full force. It lacks the chlish of the Bitul. There's no weakening of each midah is fully expressive. The Mele, so the Gvura contradicts and opposes the Chesed. Kol shatik beres yeser yafrum naged yeser. The stronger one way of expressing the let's say the stronger one midah is, that makes the other midah even stronger. The Mele, each one they work together, but each one is the opposite. Gam. So number one, the Gvura Shebechesed is a stronger type of Gvura. Gam Shebechesed a Chesed Shebechesed the Chesed, the way the sphere is on Elam HaToyu, it's called the state of Atzmius. He's going to bring later the dogma from Keches HaNefesh, like he always brings. The marshal of Toyu is from Keches HaNefesh, Keches Atzmi, Keches HaNelam. The Mele, because the Chesed is Atzmis, without the Chlishus of Meichen, it's Gampos Gampolas Vashpos. So Mele, the Chesed is a very strong flow, even when just like it's the essence, they're essentially very deep, so its expression is also very strong. The Mele, he says, that's the adds another twist here, where we say that when we say that the in Toyu the Gvura is called in the Chesed, it's not really Agbala B'Koyo. The Gvura doesn't actually limit the Chesed. It's only B'Koyo. It has the potential to limit it. That's why it's in Tikkun, in Elam HaToyu. In Elam HaToyu, the Skalus is only a type of scholars which is b'koyach, Agbola b'koyach. What is the concept of Agbola b'koyach? What does it mean? What does it mean that it's potentially limited? Is it limited or not limited? See, it brings a dogma we learned earlier. In the Agbola b'koyach, what is the concept of koyach? We find that concept in Tikkun also, so from that we understand the way it works in Toyu. It's still different. That's what this shtickle we learned last time. Because Makamacha Mashkas Avedis HaKedesh, where Agbola means when it tchila in Kedim Datzilus, Avedis HaKedesh says this famous statement. And so, Shlomosa de Kula, Kashem Shesh Lagar Babildi will Kach Yesh Lagar Vigvul, Shimati Imataimak and Hasa Shlomosa, to say that the Ebesh can only be, is only defined by being infinite. So the things that are finite doesn't reach them. That itself is like Hasa Shlomosa. You limit and you diminish his perfection. There's some madriga where he doesn't reach. You can't say that. Then that's that down. What is I say the bottom line? What is the gvul? What is say the Eibishter created gvul? What is it? Where do we see the first tchila? Where do we see the first expression of the Eibishter's ability to express itself in a limited fashion, in a defined fashion? That's getting that Atzilus. This is what Atzilus is. Atzilus is limit. The kingdom of Atzilus limit the infinity. That's what it says in the Beis HaKedesh. But it says Mashkas Makamachas and other places in we learned, I think, in this book also. What does it mean that kingdom of Atzilus is gvul? Shezeh gvul b'kvad. Elam Atzilus is not gvul, it's not limited. It's only gvul b'koyach, which means Ein Shabbatzilus go for Ein Magudi Vadai. The gvul in Atzilus doesn't mean the in Atzilus go for this limit. Poili Mag Bola Chutz LaAtzilus. I'm sure the Biyah Yibchnes Agbola. So that when you say the kingdom of Atzilus Amukbal doesn't mean that in Atzilus it's all believable. But it's the potential, the ability to be limit yourself when you come out of Atzilus in Biyah. So what do we see in Tikkun? The Agbola b'koyach ain't the Agbola adai. When we say it's Agbola, it's only Agbola b'koyach. So near Agbola b'koyach means it only limits how far in Elam's Biyah, how far the Atzilus reach Biyah. There the Kelim come in to limit the effect. But Hashenken in Elam. In Elam Atzilus go for it's only commercial applicable. Elam Atzilus is like applicable. Now, when he says there's a gvul, the kelim are called a gvul, only means that it has the potential to limit it when it reaches outside of Biyah. This is what it says in places. It says similarly when we say in Elam Atoyim, that the gvul shebechesed means it's a gvul b'koyach is similar to that concept, but you just said about kelim Atzilus. So that's number one. What he says, but the truth is there's a difference in that guf. Omnam kasha narich came the spheres that tell you shakal sham klas abdol zeh gaver tikun when we describe
evaluate.
What?
Evaluate.
Evaluate. Okay, evaluate. Yeah, evaluate. Right. When you evaluate the way it is in Toyu, Shaka Sham Klas Abdol Zeh gaver tikun Toyu is a totally different way of different levels in tikun the meila. And it means gvul shebechesed Shaka Bola b'koyach ein she'ein nas makom klal mitzad gvul. So it's called gvul shebechesed, but it's really not, doesn't have any makom gvul. Like when you tikun Shaka Bola b'koyach point is the gvul chutz Atzilus canal. So in Elam tikun we say Bola b'koyach. We just described that the kelim Atzilus like Bola b'koyach means they limit the flow outside of Atzilus. But tell you in the Bola b'koyach ain't a gam chesed since makom l'gvul v'agvul v'agvul. In that case, it says, what was the point? what's the point of making? If we just described that in Olam HaToyu, the Gvur Shebachesed doesn't have any effect, it's Bekoyach and it's Mer Bekoyach Beitz Tikkun. So what is the whole purpose of that of the Gvur Shebachesed? They said something really radical here. Shleim Shnagach Shnegech Shemesh Negech Hagam Adeg Tikkun. Because Makam Macha the close in that time is Elzor and please aggress the Patsuf in that field. So it throws in a new really, like I call it a radical description. Anything Toyu Bechlal, Toyu is really like part of a long-term plan. The ultimate purpose was Tikkun. Everything that happens in Toyu is just in order to reach later kinds of Tikkun. The Eibishter created Toyu, so later there will be Tikkun, and then we're going to reach the ultimate purpose. The Meili says the reason why there is Chagas in Toyu is only in order so later in Tikkun should be Chagas. So there means a eye from another, this concept of Toyu is not, is a word, is a glass of things. It says in Kabbalah that why was Toyu created Bechlal in order to reach Tikkun later? The Meili is that's in general. Says in particular that concept that the internet is Chagas Shabbatai, Gvur Shabachesed and Toyu. You just ask the question, what is the gain from it if there's no, it's only Bekoyach, even more Bekoyach than there is in Tikkun. So what's the point? The point is that later it should be in Tikkun. When we call at the same time, so it goes back and forth. We call at the same time, ain't the Kamoina Kudel of Vash, like my team's a call. You can't end Shabbos Agbala Bekoyach. That's fear, Shabbash, it's like a lesson, it's Agbala Bekoyach. So okay, well, we're still in the middle of the discussion, but again, if you just want to make sure it's all started. This entire discussion started. We said earlier, from Mashamuvan Me'emek HaMelech. It shows you when we opened the Emek HaMelech, we read the two books over there. And when he say moving, he says near. It's like it's his own deal, what it says there. And when you read it, it's not that obvious. Okay, obviously it's a level shot, and it's Emek HaMelech. So he said over there, in Kabbalah, there's the Nekuda sphere of Partzuf. The Nekuda and sphere are still in Toyu, and Partzuf is in Tikkun. So here he says that in Toyu Gufa there's Nekuda. Nekuda there's Bichlal no the level of Nekuda is no scholars whatsoever, and the level of sphere, which is in Toyu. So ain't it going Nekuda? The Vash Zerach Mashnim to Kolul. So when we talk here about the second level, the sphere. So there is some kind of concept of Agbola B'Koyach. Agbola B'Koyach means in the concept that Gvur is Magdul Chesed. So the way it is in Tikkun, we explained the other clear explanation what it means. That Chesed itself is Miroy or Sheina. The Gvur limits. Should be only Loy. That's why it's in Tikkun. In Toyu, he said there's also this concept. Which means that the Gvur spells something on the Chesed, but he calls it Agbola B'Koyach. So he's continuing what this itself discussion, what it really means. Aval, it's Agbola B'Koyach. Aval is say some I don't know what it's. Period. Okay. So. Sorry. Avo, the source of a it's talking about koyach, but it's in a way that it contradicts the midah itself. The Gvur contradicts the chesed. The end, v'amida atzmis misgaber she'ein b'zagbola kol. It's soisa, but in the end, there's no agbola mamash. It's only agbola b'koyach. So let's see. So he brings a dogma. Until now, it's all words that describe something that you can't really have good understanding what it means. But now in this Chatzi ego, he brings it to Mashal. So he brings an example, a Mashal. Sheyesh efesh b'teikef hamidas, ma'teikef kol kach she'eina l'klal asvarafis, she'eina asvarafis hak shemitzvah zagam. Now he introduces a like, I would say, original or interesting Mashal describing what is the deal, what did the do over here? If he just said that let's say Chesed wants to give, we're talking about in Torah, Chesed wants to give, and Gvur comes and says wants to limit, right? But in the end, the Chesed overpowers Gvur, right? Because it's only B'koyach. B'koyach, the Gvur doesn't have an effect on Chesed. So what exactly did the Gvur do over here? If the Koyach, Amida Atif is like Chesed, is Misgaber. So what did the Gvur do? Here's the Mashal. The Mashal is the person is in a state of let's go back in experience. You find yourself in a certain situation. Let's say somebody comes and asks you for a big donation, let's say, and you say first because talking about the Isha Chesed, first of all is yeah, for sure. Person needs it, I'll give it to him. Then comes the war and said, does he really deserve it? Should I do it? So it means that's what we call pushback. After that, he decides still to give. Okay, so that we describe the scenario. Then that's option. That's the second option. First option is somebody comes and asks for a huge donation. You just don't think about it, just give it without thinking. So in both cases, in the end, you give. But let's start from the other side. So the first case, and you don't think, you don't think, hey, maybe he doesn't deserve it, maybe he'll do something or bad with it. You don't think about it. Just yes and give. The second scenario is that it does come in your mind. And your mind does what's the word? Entertain the question. The mind thinks, hey, does he deserve? Is he real? Is it real? And then you overcome it and you give it. So, like I said, in the end result, you give the same thing. But he says there's a difference. In both cases, the midah is there. But there's a difference. He says if the svar not to give doesn't even come up in your mind, that means that your midah was a full force. The second situation, when the svar came up and you had to work to undo it and continue doing what you wanted to do originally, that shows that the midah is not. It shows that midah is not a full force. You know, it's an interesting marshal because sometimes. Not just sometimes, I think most of the times we would say the opposite. We would say that if you have a pushback and you overcome the pushback, it's even stronger, right? So you have to, let's say, scarf you overcome it. So in a way, it's a stronger energy. That is usually the way we understand things. But in this particular situation, he uses the marshal in an opposite way. That if the fact that there is some avam in it, not to do it, that tames a little, that blocks, that weakens a little. He doesn't say the word, but I think that's meaning what he's saying. That is a marshal and Gvur shebechesed the way it is not like that. So Gvur shebechesed actually affect the chesed. Chesed itself would say to give everybody. Gvur comes and says no. Only the Misharoy. In the world of Torah, the version has is only the fact that it says was oil you entertain the other approach that maybe the guy doesn't deserve, but the oil doesn't affect. I'll take this mashal a step further. We call it al-balab. What do we say al-balab? Means like we said, Natzilus. But in Ela Natzilus, it doesn't affect it. It affects bias. I would say in this much, or maybe my own speculation, but I think maybe you can say in this scenario the way I described it, the fact that you started thinking maybe not, and but the poil gave it, the fact that you have the ability to think that the other way, maybe it's going to affect you at a different scenario later, let's say the next day or the next situation, because you already entertained that possibility that it shouldn't give. So the next person who comes, maybe at that point you'll take a not give. That's that. I'm using this. That's so much like I said. Lelo matzil is good for stays blig wultaka, but later this. I think maybe you can use that whole, but it's a unique way to understanding the Zeo Indian sphere. So this is what we call sphere as opposed to Nekuda. She's Chagas Yud Mut Pam Achas. That, like we said earlier, the difference sphere and part of the sphere is Chagas Yud Mut Pam Achas, only 10. They only divide each sphere by 10. So that is that level of his kalulus, of his chalkus, and its kalulus. His chalkus means it divided the spheres in 10, but his kalulus means that each one has a part of the other. That because that level of his kalulus is shayach toil, which close. We finished. Let's see. Like we said earlier, even in the world of Tikkun, and that level of his talus is not full talus. The male koshkem is called the toy. It's called the time says and I know those actually. But time is gaba b'yesas spirit. The difference is that until you in that level, the end the sphere wins over. It overpowers the second sphere. The chesed overpowers the gvul. The only contribution that Gvul added here is, like we said, Ola small Mashenken and Tikkun. Maybe a dime is called Bezana. That's what we said earlier. That in Tikkun, it starts with the first level of Iskalus, which is Gvul Shebachesed, and eventually it comes to the point that the Gvul itself is Chesed, full Iskalus, like the marshal of the father that disciplines the child. So the gvul itself, the discipline itself is an expression of the chesed. That is a result of earlier there is regular gvul shebachesed. The gvul limits the chesed, and then the gvul itself is chesed.
And then that's a parsuf, no?
Yeah, that's parts. But this is the einze. That's the einze maybe I don't discuss like in the basic house. And Toyu, it doesn't reach that point because it doesn't have that people. Only in Tikkun. The Zel Shekosa the Beitz Chaim. Then he brings back the lashon from Beitz Chaim that he started. Where was it? In 1 second. In page. What was it? 1 second. Page Kuflamet Gimel. You'll see like a little below the half of the page. Show Maschas Arei Eina Betoikim says Beitz Chaim Shah Patzufim is the sphere Beis Shleim of Chol Chelke Abiyah parts of a keshem. That's what it said in Beitz Chaim. So he goes back to that lashon of Beitz Chaim. V'zeh Shekosa Beitz Chaim the Prince sphere Imish Shekol Echadish B'Abiyah in the level of sphere. Each sphere has Abiyah, which is the four elements, which actually 10 spheres. But the spheres don't have a connection, a bond. Because that level of sphere, which is only Yud Miut Pamachas, that means it's not fully scalus. Even in Tikkun, that level of sphere is not fully scalus. Okay, so this is, so we finished that discussion of sphere and sphere versus parts. Now it takes us back to a different. I mean, it's going to go back to parts of also, but now it takes us back to different. To another point that he started making in page Koflamed base. Page Koflamed base, he started saying, but if you look in the middle of page Koflamed base, it says, "Va'inina the Yadua close average, but I will tickle the essence feels that I have to couldn't tickle yesha." Remember, we had a discussion the difference between a round circle and a line. In a line, there's top and bottom, the beginning and an end. A circle is something above, which doesn't have that. So he say that. So now he's going to use the concept we learned now about the sphere and parts of. So that is really this is going to explain that this is also the same concept the gulim b'yesh. Gulim shemachet spashtus b'igul alkoponim. The gulim is also spashtus. The gulim is not an akuda. It's spashtus. It's an expansion, but it's like a circle. I say p'chinas sphere. That's what we call sphere versus parts. The kolach call me yud, and she calls sphere nach rekas yud. We call answer for the scales and say they show me the not again. So that's the concept of igulim. Similar what we explained about sphere, that there is a scalus, but it's not a fully scalus. So in that level of scalus, it's not a full conversion. They're not fully one. There's still two separate things that they contradict each other. Now, if you look at the bottom, it says because here in this line, there's a one line that the Rebbe Rashab added over here, and he wrote in Tzarech La'atik. Remember we had it a few times, various places. That a lot of times the Rebbe Rashab used to write something, and he wrote on the instead of erasing it, he wrote on the side "Ein Tzarech La'atik." Do not copy it. So the Rebbe one Bafavarian said that since the Rebbe Rashab wrote it, Sakadait of Rebbe is also Torah, so it should be printed also in this form, but it should write Ein Tzarech La'atik. So here is in Amad Rishtamah base, in our Maimer here, the two places that we have a few interesting lines that he adds, and then he decided to set Ein Tzarech La'atik. Now, so if you learn in Maimer, you should figure out what he says and why Ein Tzarech La'atik. I'm not going to go to the but it's interesting to see what it says in this. So you got to reach some base. So what did he say? Earlier in the previous page, we just learned the marshal, in Oila Sva remember the two ways. So he uses that comparison here another way to explain to you. But he says something really. Yeshleima, so he brings another dogma the way it is in Toy. Well, how does the unit of fiscalis operate in Elam Toy? Look at this. Person who's in doubt is not always. Is in a certain situation. He has a hard time is in doubt. But as far as and the svars, the ways to view something, to approach something, are running around in his head. And it cannot come to a conclusion, to a decision. So that's first is the dogma in the world of intellect. The first thing is learn something, introducing some idea, and he just can't make a decision of what is right or what is wrong. He has a hard time deciding. So that as far as the back and forth in his mind is is self-contradictory. So then says Kai Gavne B'Midas.
You are what Kuf Lamed Vav? Where are you now?
Reish Samach Ahmed Reish Samach Beis.
Oh, Reish Samach Bet.
Ahmed Reish. If you look in the bottom, it says it in the Hava. Ahmed Reish Samach
Yes. Okay.
So again, we are in the fourth line. Put Kuf Lamed Vav. It says we call is Kalas and Kosh Kamadreg is the Torah. So what does it say here? כמו יודם סתמות בדעתי בסרוס מסויץ סתס ואין ירח הלאחר דו ואין נמצא של ספר מדי שסויץ זה לא זה. So we have a situation where that's a dogma obviously, it's a marshal. If a person who has a hard time deciding in his mind.
So someone is indecisive, that's Toyu?
What? That's Toyu. Exactly.
Like someone that's indecisive, you could call it Toyu?
That's what okay, wait a second, let's finish Chasidu. But it says, Kaigam de Bemidas. The first word I dogma from Sforim. Kaigam de Bemidas Shaimet Behain Velav Belis Yashvus. Similar to the way it's in your mind, the same thing can happen also in your emotional response. Like I said, let's say in the marshal of like the marshal I bought earlier, somebody comes to you and asks for help, for donation, let's say. And you're not sure, not in your mind, your heart. You want to give, you don't want, ain't no doubt. You can't come to a clear decision how you feel about it. Look, that's not such. My marshal from the nation maybe is not like marshal. The idea that people are sometimes in a state of doubt is pretty common. You're in doubt. You can't make a decision. So that's uses a marshal the way it's in Toyu. That it's colorless, but it's not. There's no clarity. There's no. Gvura Shabachesed means there are two these colors, but it's in a way that's clear. You decide you want to be good, but you have a limited. So that's a healthy scholars. But unhealthy, that's to tell you that you have a hard time making a decision. That's a marshal that the Rebbe gave. Then it says ain't so flat. Why? Okay, we can speculate why he decided not to leave it, but it's to us it's maybe even if the marshal is not it brings it a little down to earth what we're talking about. Okay, let's go back to Kufam 12 because a few lines later is also and also he has another line. In the end, what happens in Toyu, what overpowers Mida Atzis means the Mida we're dealing with. Let's say in Madrega of Chesed, the Gvura Shebachesed just confuses him, like we just said in the marshal. But in the end of the day, that Mida that mode is in that overpower. Okay, so you repeat that we're using now the Lashon of Igurim b'Yeshua. Okay, please say Igurim in the level of Igurim, which is Toya. Agam shekol echad ve'echad kol miyun mekol en b'mischalgut neshesgavus me'amida atzim v'ashayim ha'kamei b'kodesh. So again, so that's it actually repeats what we said earlier in the previous page. It's only b'koyach. Like I said to my marshal, I don't know if it's perfect, but like marshal that at this point he chooses a way, but Koyach, he has the ability in a later in a different condition. It should actually the Gvura should limit Chesed. But we're talking also about Igulim. He said, why is it called Igulim? Ein b'maylo mat. That the Koyach of the sphere, the tell you ein b'maylo mat is not top and bottom because, in other words, if there's a normal Ischalkus. If the spheres operate in a normal manner, so we know who is higher and who is lower. Mashengen here, because each sphere on its own is in full control, so you can't say that one is higher and one is lower than the other. Each one is full force. Now he's adding. Now he's adding, adding another line here, base, which is even that makes it more complicated actually. There's another concept in Igurim. Sometimes Kabbalah says, again, because Kabbalah uses the image of a circle. You have to remember that when you say circle versus line, it's just the imagery to give us the clue, the concept. It's conceptual. There's not circles and there's no lines. So B'meile, for Pashas, he would say that when you just said that in a line, the circle is that in the circle, there's no line, there's a top and bottom. The circle is not top and bottom. But when you look in a page and you have a circle, there is a top and bottom, right? But that means nothing because the pile in the physical circle, everything has a top and a bottom. But conceptually, a circle means that everything is equal. But then he says in another place, Yesh chiluk v'chatzi elim v'tach. In Igurim Gufa says in Kabbalah sometimes that in eagle there's the top of the eagle and the bottom of the eagle. It's almost contradictory to what we say all along. So the Chayav stimmt das ist ja Yeshlem is that be Igurim the Yesha. Okay, in Yesha Gufa there's also Igurim. That's topic la'atzmoi and. Like I said, I'm definitely going into this. It's time to keep in mind as a concept gulim shabiyesha, gulim diyesha, or in those gulim, there is a difference with chatzi el and chatzi eagle el and chatzi ataf.
So the fact that it's a what you call it? It's an eagle that shows a confusion. No, it's not clear. Basically, that's what that says. Okay. Or the middles, correct? I mean, that's what.
Okay, you're right. Okay. The eagle, you're right. The eagle means there is no clear hierarchy. All right, true. Confusion. So again, so the Eimer Milo matter. So the we just explained because they are all in a state of everyone with full power. The Eimer Milo matter. There was another marshal we once learned another framework about the Kaychas and Elomim, that in the normal way of the Kaychas and Nefesh they operate is that each Kayach depends on the Kayach above. Bina depends on Chachma. First they have the Chachma, and then they have the Bina, and Midas depend on Meichel. Divo depends on Midas. So there's hierarchy, right? We said that Kaychas and Elomim, which are Galek, B'Shas, Simcha, there's no hierarchy there. So the male person that's the component. I don't know in real life exactly how it expresses itself, but generally could relate to the fact that the person is a very high state of excitement. He can talk without feeling, without thinking, he can feel without thinking. Is each of his kaychas is directly expressing the nefesh, the hierarchy. So it can be midas without meichin. It can be diva without midas. I mean, there's sometimes diva without thinking in real life also, but that's not real diva. That's some talking about real diva. B'shas simcha says when the Kaychas Ne'elam is gale, there's no mile matter. They're all at the same level of expression. The gam, another point. What does it mean when you say katnus here? I think katnus means it's not fully developed. That's immature. I think that's how we translate katnus here. The midas of toyo are immature. It says which goes to the gurim and kelim ktani. In Chal Kabbalah says that about toyu is earth moving the kelim in the world of Hatzilus, in the world of toyu are called kelim mo'ati. They're diminished kelim. Here he uses the lashon kelim ktanim. But he doesn't elaborate exactly that point. Right, for essas feels the gulim ein lem kasher b'chiva zeh she'zeh tachas zeh. The way the essence feels the gulim operate, ein lem chiba zeh. There's no carving. When you say that in the essence feels the yosha is like lines. So the lines, one line touches the other. One line is directs to the other. The way the gulim operate is it's like again when the muscle is something very gashmis, very the word will be very practical, very physical expression. That's a circle within a circle. So in the way we say pashtus, if you see a circle within a circle, the top circle doesn't touch the bottom circle. They're just one within the other, but there's no connection. So that's another much. This is a pasuk in remember, it's a pasuk in the Merkavas Yecheskel that oifen is a circle. Oifen is a wheel, one wheel within the other. One circle within the other, but enam kesher v'chilu. He said zeh tachas zeh. So we learned earlier the concept of zeh tachas zeh that again zeh tachas zeh means basically that there's no connection with them. But shein echad negeh v'chaver kol ilas seil v'makif le'ilas. Seil makif le'ilas. 1 second. It's not lilos, it's la'olu, la'lulu. Ilas makib the olu. Igla kesa sheseve makib igla chachma. La'olam ein negei igla kesa igla chachma. Aknes makib is nicht about dol. Kein igla chachma igla bin. Again, he's using the visual image of a circle within a circle, like I said before. So the outer circle never touches the lower circle. I think what we're getting here is just the same concepts we learned earlier. He explains how they are describable as circles versus line. The circle, what the relation of one circle to the circle below him, the circle that's within him, is only based on maki, but there's no direct connection. So that's a marshal. The way things I can tell you that each sphere, it's not really scholars. Each sphere doesn't connect directly. We said earlier from its time. And kesher, there's no kesher. There's no connection. Only in part of there's a kesher, but in the sphere there's no connection. So that's another kind that is expressed in the marshal, in the visual image of an eagle, of a circle.
So it seems like that when the big circle turns, it causes that the circle inside of it also turns, even though they don't touch.
You bring in another. You're talking about the galgalim of the galgalim, the spheres of the what do you call it? The astronomical system of astronomy. That's not what we're talking about here. We're not talking that aspect. We're talking about the galgum savit. One galgum turns the other. That's about turning. He doesn't use that image here. You only use the image that one circles within the other.
No, but then it says that one has effect on the other one.
But that's makif. The effect is what the Lashon says. Makif ein negeya. Raknes makif has richtig v'havdol. He has an effect on him, but only an external effect. As far as turning, I don't know. He doesn't mean it turning. that concept of turning is not part of this discussion, I think. So in a way, what we gained here, we really repeated the same concept of Iskalus we spoke earlier in the Maimah, but here he applies it to the language of Igurim and Yosha. So parts when a kesher shel spheres so that's the difference between Igurim and Yosha. Similar to the difference, it's not so. It's another, maybe it's another description, another way to define and describe the concept, the relation between spheres, the way it is in the Igurim and in Yosha, and the way it is in Torah and Tikkun. There's a difference in sphere and parts. So over there, there's order, there is hierarchy. The inner is by a little parts of called sphere and like it's you count when it's by so to explain earlier, the world of parts, which is the world of Yosha, there is a direct interaction between the spheres and they work together like the martial this discipline itself is an expression of the kindness. Like remember we had the difference in ze misa and ze imse. Ze misa, that's the first madriga. The gvur shebe chesed in a way that the gvur limits the chesed. That's ze misa. Then ze imse means that the gvur and chesed work together. That the gvur itself is chesed. Omnem ina kesher v'achiba der spheres shkonis parts. Ein zak man shekulim ze misa k'tin shel spheres mislapshim ze v'ze manigim ze. Chol skolim parts of echad da'ayim v'nes tzio odom echad. So now he introduces he goes to the next step. That in the world of Tikkun, not only is each sphere fully developed parts which contains various combination of all the other spheres in a full Iskalus. There's more all spheres work together to create this part which is called Adam Eli, the full obviously in the muscle, full human body, or the mile, full expression of the Adam Eli. That's when all the spheres work together. That will continue tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you very much.